Okay, hello there, and I'm about to make my subsequent short video. Tonight's video won't be too long, because I'm pretty, I actually was slammed all the day through, and now I had a nice walk along the embankment, and I've had some fresh air, and I decided to make these subsequent spontaneous video and to share some points I wanted to share. So this one won't be very short, as I promised. And what about what actually special about today's video? The thing actually is I always wanted to speak about the way how the native speakers actually speak, how they do their natural speaking activity, and how to be like them, how to sound more naturally, how to make right sounds, how to actually speak fast and without those things like interpret from Russian to English like in your mind, instead of thinking from the very beginning like in English. And there could be other more tiny points inside this issue. I will reveal them later as I will continue my video. And actually, what about native speakers' way of speaking? How to sound like them? As for me, it's almost clear, but it's simultaneously like simply and difficult simultaneously, because from the very beginning I've never been taught like how to speak, how to sound like natives, how to be natural, how to be fluent, and that's why I followed all my way by myself, and nobody taught me how to do it in the right way. And with years of my English learning activity thing, I become clear about that there would be and could be some significant points I still know aware about, and there could be something meaningful that I should possess in order to sound more fluently and in front of myself, in moral, in front of the native speakers. And so how to be fluent is for me. I heard one opinion in an in-net in some blog, and the source that worth to be rely on. This source actually in this source was a English tutor, and she said, like, in order to be natural and fluent, you always keep in mind one thing: you should first be always in the flow and the native speaker's speech, and the second thing is to repeat all the time what they say out of the screen. Repeat, 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 and learn, and so that your mind can get used to those things that you think about and you speak about, and while telling your mind getting accustomed to the way you speak actually, and this thing becomes better while speaking. The more you speak, the better this thing becomes. And actually I agree on that point. As long as I apply this method to myself, I noticed that my pronunciation became more soft, more like the way they do. And because English language has like a huge difference in pronunciation in comparison with Russian and like Ukrainian language, the more we should keep in mind that those things are very significant to become a great native speaker. And I'm on the way. And actually I haven't told nothing special now, but As soon as one person can realize these simple things, the sooner he or her will become more natural in terms of sounding how an English speaker. And also, I want to share with you with my personal experience of learning English. It's been on my life as I remember. It's not completely all my life, but from the age of, let's say, 23 years old, I've get accustomed and I like pulled myself intentionally into the kind of activity like English learning process. And from the very beginning I started with myself. I started to read some books for the university learners of English language, and after, let's say, like 3 months of self-activity, I decided to hire a tutor. There was a tutor in my life. She was like 30 years old and she was terrific in her pronunciation, and she pushed me forward in terms of my speaking skills, and she explained me a lot of grammar. She explained me like all the main things I should have known about in order to sound like a real English speaking man. And after that rather intensive activity of English learning thing, I I abandoned this activity for some stupid, some incomprehensible maybe reason. And something, sometimes you have those things in your life that happens without your previous plans. Like I actually dropped into the business activity, and I abandoned, as I said, English activity learning process. And I wouldn't say that I too regret about that, but from my today's point of view, it would be better if I kept doing this thing, this English learning thing. And now I'm trying to overreach or step me of the past. You know what I'm saying about me all that times, and I've already overpassed myself, overrun myself of the 1998 year, and I've become more clear, more experienced, more advanced at English learning thing. And for the end of today's ramblings, as always, something stupid for you. Actually, I walked around the neighborhood and I visited our local pond. There were a lot of ducks, like fish, and people who feeded those living creatures from a small bridge. They float to the water like small uh, small pieces of something like bread, like something else, and those living creatures eat it all these completely, and they left nothing for the tomorrow morning. Okay, and interesting stuff that I noticed that I actually initially wanted to share, that I didn't see any otters on the pond this year. It's strange because all the time that I passed that place, I actually saw the otters swimming around the pond and doing like activity that I mentioned about, like feeding themselves with the suitable food they can find elsewhere on the surface of the pond. And these days I don't see any otters. If in a case you don't know what the otter means, I'll explain to you. It's like middle-sized small animal with a rather intense fur on it, and it's like a rat-like animal, but bigger one with a longer tail and more harsh cannons. Cannons mean teeth. Teeth. and actually ears and tail, as I mentioned. And strangely, that I don't see those magnificent creatures no more on this pond. And we'll see how it will appear in the nearest time. Maybe I'll see them and I'll tell you later about that. So I've done for today. See you in a little while. It was a pleasure to be with you guys. See you soon. Bye.